You're listening to today's inspirational message on the Proverbs with Kurt Bjorklund.
Proverbs 17 is about God's refinement, but there's also, again, this use of abomination in this chapter, which has been used several times in Proverbs, speaking really about what is offensive to God. Verse 15, he who justifies the wicked and he who condemns the righteous are both alike an abomination to the Lord. And then verse 26, to impose a fine on a righteous man is not good, nor to strike the noble for their uprightness. And so this is referring probably to a judicial setting, but it happens in life when we make judgment about people's character and their actions. And there's two ways that it speaks about drawing disgust here. First is giving a pass to those who are acting unjustly, and secondly is finding fault with those who are innocent. And the first is giving a pass to those who are acting unjustly. And this means we encourage sinful behavior, attitudes, and wrong beliefs. It means that we ignore sinful behavior, attitudes, and wrong beliefs, or declare or pass judgment in favor of something in order to somehow gain an advantage, even though we know it isn't right. And so the example of this would be in court, somebody who does take a bribe or is trying to curry favor with somebody, and so they don't stand up for the oppressed. In the general day-to-day life that we live, especially as a person of faith, this is whenever you would rather be liked by somebody rather than saying something that you know is true and is right before God, because you want to encourage or ignore something so that people think well of you. And this basically says this is an abomination. Now, I'm not going to go into what those things might be, but let me just ask you to think, where do you, especially people you have relationships with, I'm not talking about just walking down the street and like correcting somebody for not returning their shopping cart to the shopping cart stall or something like that. I'm talking about, a child in your life, a sibling, a spouse, a good friend, a coworker, where something isn't right and you're turning a blind eye. According to Proverbs, this is an abomination to the Lord and not allowing God to refine you. And then secondly, condemning the righteous, which is declaring or ruling against one who is truly innocent, with the hope, again, of gaining a little something back. And this probably shows itself in our general day-to-day life with catty comments about people who are doing good. Have you ever had somebody around you just say about somebody else, oh, they're a do-gooder? And it's not said in a positive way, but it's said in a negative way. Well, this is the kind of thing that what you're doing is you are choosing to say, I'm aligning against the good of God. And so here's the idea that I think is really important to understand and embrace in our culture today, and that is that God actually does have standards. And sometimes, even as somebody who studies the Bible all the time, teaches it, I want to soft pedal those standards because I know that they're irritating to many people in our culture. And sometimes I don't want the standards. But whenever I do what this says, justify the wicked, then I am an abomination to the Lord. Or if I condemn those who are doing right in some way. Usually when we condemn those who are doing right, it's because we want to bring it down a little so that we don't feel the weight of kind of what they're doing in terms of our lives or our responses to what God might want to do. And so today, where are you either justifying the wicked or condemning the righteous? And what would it look like to be refined by God's hand, knowing that He tests your heart?
Thanks for joining us here today. There's a lot of great content to explore on Orchard Hill Plus and on the Orchard Hill main feed from the weekend. Have a great day.